I am Diti. I work with an organization. Actually, I work with a feminist network called Sangat. I'm also trying really hard to finish my PhD in women's studies from TIS. And I use the pronouns he and they. Whenever I get this question, I'm really baffled because I'm like, you tell me your coming out story, right? So so I don't have a coming out story. I don't think I came out. I have always, I mean, at least I have looked like this or a younger self like this for a long period of my life. I there in coming out is also like a process where we sort of have to come out every day. Like if I'm introducing myself, I have to say that I'm a trans person or I'm a trans masculine person, or these are the pronouns, while probably a cis person's pronouns will just be like assumed, or we look at somebody and we just assume that this is their name, this is their pronoun, right? And we so it is the onus is then on the trans person or like the queer person or the LGBT person to say ki I am not what you assume I am, right? So I think I often like to reverse the gaze and say, when did you come out? Because I did not really come out. I introduce myself every time, and I hope that people don't assume. And that doesn't change, like people's assumption they do not really change through my introduction. Like I might say 100 times, these are my pronouns, this is my name, and yet people will go back to saying, Acha madam, right? So the whole, I think we also in progressive circles, sometimes we also make this facade of coming out when actually it doesn't, nobody really cares. Or nobody really cares to affirm, but they want to know about you, but they don't really want to affirm you, right? So I don't think I ever came out in that sense all the time. I come out every day. Sometimes I don't. Most times I don't come out because I'm like, this is a negotiation I don't want to do. I don't want to get into acha aise kaise hota hai, what is this, how is this, why is this, if this then why this, because it just means a lot of questions. So if for example I'm talking to a person on the road and they call me madam a couple of times, I just like breathe and don't come out, right? So I think I don't want to put too much onus on coming out, because then also like if I have to come out as trans, I also hold on so many other identities. I do not keep coming out about which identity do I come out with? I am actually in my 6th year of PhD.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I am writing it right now. I've been writing it for quite some time. It is on queer citizenship and nationalism, so it's slightly contentious a topic, which means that under the current circumstances, I'm finding it very difficult to put it out in public at the moment. I'm a very inquisitive person, so I ask a lot of questions. I've always, and now that I reflect back on my childhood, I think I've always been like that. I just ask a lot of questions. Why this, why that? Also, when I first entered into academia, I'm from Assam. Now there is actually a lot of writing from Assam. There was a lot of writing, but when I was in DU, for instance, the only thing about Northeast was this exotic tribal imagery, right? In the sociology classroom, in the women's studies classroom, we were only taught the Northeast through the lens of conflict. Not saying that that is not important, but at the same time, we do not have any other narratives coming out from there. And like a lot of the theories that I was reading did not resonate with what was happening in my context. So with that, I started, all my researches have actually stemmed from that, like trying to find answers for questions to my context.
Right.
And then that is how which is how I fell in love with research. I love research, and that is how I ended up doing a PhD. I think the message would be that you do you, basically. Like, people will not understand, and if they don't understand, it's fine. And I think the most important person who has to accept you is you yourself. So once you accept yourself, the world may affirm you, not affirm you. It matters. I'm not going to say that it doesn't matter, like, whether the world understands or it doesn't. It matters every day. If your friends do not understand, if your colleagues do not understand, if your parents do not understand, it matters. And but also the thing is, there's, I think, only so much that we can do, right? And it doesn't have to be so bleak. I almost sound very bleak and disheartening. But if people do understand, appreciate it. If they don't understand, I think we'll have to let that be as well. And if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling sad, all those emotions are completely valid. And live with those emotions, work with those emotions. It's okay to ask for help. There will always be somebody who will understand some part of it, and I think it will be okay. You will survive, basically.